Hi, thanks for clicking my video. My name is Brittany Page and my business is Art Abide. I'm here with Marilyn Willis. She is a licensed professional clinical counselor, and I needed to ask her a couple questions about anxiety because the month of October is Mental Health Awareness Month, and we are doing a workshop at the end of October, specifically October 26th, so look into that. It's in my event section. And I wanted to ask her some questions about what anxiety is, what you experience when you have anxiety, what it looks like to go through healing with anxiety, and then what it looks like on the other side. And she's helping me understand all those things. So you were telling me about a few things about the physical experience of it and what's going on mentally as well. Will you go through that again?
Sure. So the hippocampus overreacts when we are having anxiety, and we go into fight or flight mode, and our body starts to react more sensitively to our environment. Our survival skills are very important because if there's really a danger out there that is happening, we need to be able to react to this danger.
Mm-hmm.
But anxiety is an overreaction to something that is actually not dangerous. Shoulders and chest, heart racing, maybe more movement needs to happen because you can't sit still, shaking of the hands, nervousness, the voice kind of trembling are all things that may happen if you're feeling anxious inside.
So what are the things that would be an average trigger to something like this? Is there sort of a textbook thing that causes this?
So we're each going to have a different trigger.
Okay.
And a lot of times those triggers come because of memories from our past.
Okay.
So if we had a memory as a young child, maybe of a friend drowning in a pool, then we may be scared of water and become anxious and have these different reactions within ourselves if we come near a pool.
Okay.
So we're triggered by something, an implicit memory that we may not even know is there.
Okay, that's what it was going to be my next question. So if you are someone who has anxiety and wants to heal from anxiety, or at least wants to support yourself through getting closer to a healing, is it important to know exactly what those things are, or can you heal even if you don't have a knowledge of the specifics of what triggers anxiety for you?
There's two different things that need to happen. There needs to be kind of a heart healing that has to happen, of working through maybe not the memory, but training your body to be calm in the midst of the stimulus that is there, that's causing anxiety. So you don't need to know that someone drowned in a pool and that's why you're anxious around the pool. But you certainly know that your body is tensing up and your heart is racing when you're near the pool.
Okay.
So maybe you need to go near the pool and have some positive situations happen with the pool to overcome some of the anxiety around it.
Okay.
Or for the public speaker, doing something is going to make you feel more comfortable with it.
Okay.
And so making yourself go and do just a small speech in front of a small audience to get more comfortable, and training your body within doing that public speaking. Have things that you're speaking to yourself, make it a positive environment. It will calm you down so that then possibly after many times, I think you said Dr. Carol Leaf says that it's 70 days, 63 days.
Yeah, 7 minutes a day, 63 days in a row will rewire your brain structure.
Same thing with anxiety. You can rewire your brain structure by entering into those things that you're uncomfortable with, and recognizing your body is changing is the first step, because if there's no awareness, there's nothing that you can do to change something. So an awareness needs to happen that this is causing me anxiety, and then working with that thing. Sometimes there's something called exposure therapy, and trying to show yourself that you don't need to be afraid in that environment is one tactic to overcome anxiety. But certainly from a Christian perspective, there are many scriptures that we can recite to ourselves. There's this putting off of that anxiety, knowing what those things are, and speaking truth into the situation. So for instance, if I believe the pool is scary, then I would repeat to myself the truth that God is in charge of all things. I don't need to be afraid of the pool.
Okay.
So every time I see that pool, I repeat the true thing.
Okay.
And I kind of put off that thing that I don't agree with, that I don't want there.
If you're someone who wants to be ready for a pool experience or a speaking experience, or whatever your trigger is, do you think it would be helpful to maybe paint a picture of that first, or like with the workshops, we do a writing first on a specific topic, and then we do a painting of the writing? Do you think that can help prepare somebody for how to rewire their brain in order to go into a real life exposure therapy?
Sure. And when we imagine something to be true, it is almost in our brain as if it was true. So I'm not sure exactly what you're going to have them paint in this instance, but if you're having them journal about something that makes them anxious, and then painting maybe a picture of a way that it wouldn't feel as scary, then we can reflect on, okay, this is actually not as scary.
Okay.
And kind of desensitizing ourselves to that object or to that situation.
Okay. That makes sense.
There's a technique that's kind of silly that a lot of people use in speeches of acting like everyone else doesn't have any clothes on. The reason this works to make you feel less anxious is because everyone looks silly. But it's also a mindset, and that's a lot of times what happens in anxiety is we have to get control of our minds. We have to take those thoughts captive so that we can train our brains that really we are not in danger. The people that are sitting in this audience can't hurt me. And we have to retrain our brain to believe that, because it's a heart change that has to happen.
Yeah.
It's a belief change that has to happen with anxiety.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So I hope that's helpful.
Oh my gosh, this has been so incredible. I'm grateful that we're having this conversation, because I think a lot of people have anxiety on some level, and it's really important to know that anxiety is something that you don't necessarily have to fall victim to your entire life. Once you realize what is causing it, and you decide that you're ready to go on the track of taking responsibility and taking ownership and deciding that you're going to rewire your brain, then you've just empowered yourself, which from where I'm sitting, like just an observation, it seems like half the battle is just being empowered that you can have influence on this situation.
Yes. A lot of times with anxiety, your body is reacting to something without you doing anything. And so it's recognizing that even though your body's reacting without you doing anything, that you still can take your body captive by using your brain and changing your thoughts.
I love that.
And knowing that, okay, I'm reacting to something, something's going on, and so I need to change my atmosphere, or so on the way over, I was sharing with Brittany that I struggle with anxiety sometimes. On the way over, I was starting to think about doing this film, and I thought, oh no, I'm anxious. Well, then I just put some worship music on in the car on the way over. Calmed me right down, because I don't need to worry about it. And if I let myself continue to go down this path of worry, you better believe I'm going to spiral down to where I might have a panic attack or something, which I've never had. But that's what happens to people, is you let the thought go too far without taking it captive and saying, no, I'm going to not allow this to happen right now. And instead I'm going to take my focus and put it over here. For me, it was the worship music, and I'm going to focus on that instead.
Awesome.
So with the art, you could definitely do that. I'm going to focus on this instead, and then using those essential oils that I know you have will bring another level of, okay, I'm able to ground myself.
Yes, exactly. That is a really great tool to make it just a little bit easier to go into that space of grounding, of empowering, of reminding yourself, and especially like after practice, because it's probably not going to happen the very first time you try it, but this type of thing, your brain reacts to the consistent reminding, and so it'll be baby steps towards that goal, but eventually you will get there.
There's actually something that counselors do of having you tighten, if you're feeling anxiety and tense, having you tighten different parts of your body, and they'll instruct you to tighten and then release, because the idea is your body cannot be tight and release at the same time. And so it teaches you to firm it up and then to feel what release feels like. Because for some of us with anxiety, we don't even know what it feels like to be calm, to not have tension. And so by causing tension and then releasing, just training yourself of it is possible to have this calm feeling. There are some other things such as yoga that will help with anxiety, exercise, getting that energy out, eating less sugar, caffeine. There's different things that our bodies, depending on who you are, react to.
Right.
And so we have to stop putting in things that bother us and start putting on things that help us.
Yeah, that's true. Learning to know what your body is being sensitive to. I can attest that a lot of the people that I encounter that have anxiety admit that their eating choices are poor, and they're deciding then to turn that around and make those hard choices that can ultimately lead to a life-changing experience.
Yep. I know, and once again, I shared that I struggle with anxiety. And so I've started doing 10 minutes of yoga a day. Nice. And I can't tell you how it calms me, and I can go right to sleep. So I think there's some practices, and one of them being, for some of us, getting it out with art and these essential oils and things like that, different practices we can put into our lives that will calm us down and teach us that there's a new way that we can live.
Yeah. Is there anything else that you feel like you didn't get a chance to share with us? You have so much knowledge. I can tell she has such a tender spirit, and that this is something that you're passionate about. You're passionate about people. You're passionate about getting their specific answers, because everyone has anxiety for different reasons, at different levels. Everybody needs different ways to address how they can change it for themselves. What would you add any part to this already rich conversation?
I think the beginning place for each of us is figuring out within ourselves, journaling.
Okay.
Figuring out what am I reacting to during the day, and thinking through those things will show you, okay, my body is tensing up, I'm having heart racing when I think about going to this certain meeting at work. So what about that meeting is causing that feeling? Okay. Maybe there's more conflict in that meeting than you like, and conflict causes anxiety for you. But you would never realize that it was conflict that causes anxiety unless you journaled about it. So journaling is really the key that will unlock, that's why I react so poorly. I get more irritable in this situation. And so just really being aware of our bodies and how we're reacting to people. And that will show you, okay, I do have anxiety and that is causing a reaction to things. Instead, we can maintain ourselves and do our healthy thing that helps us in the midst of anxiety to make it through something. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, maybe you're talking about like learning how you yourself can be proactive in a sense that you're prepared for anything that does come up. You have a plan of action.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and you already have those healthy things in line so that you're not going to be triggered as quickly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if somebody wanted to reach out to you and maybe pick your brain or ask you for your services, how would they get a hold of you?
Yeah, you're welcome to find me on my website, Good Morning, MOURNING, with Marilyn @gmail.com or goodmorningwithmarilyn.com. So, and feel free to email me or find me on my website and chat with me on there.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Blast talking with you.
Thanks for having me. I hope it came through what I was saying.
Oh, it was perfect.
Okay.